Welcome, everybody. We just have this one more show after this. This is our second to last show, man. What a bittersweet time it is. But I am excited to bring this to you guys. We are in the semifinals of fantasy, and wow, what a season it's been. We're going to start off with the consolation bracket first. We have a really close matchup here between NFL All-Stars and the Singapore Sea Turtles. 2 4-9 teams going at it. For the NFL All-Stars, we have Tyreek Hill, obviously, fantastic, going against Denver. Big week possibly for him. And then you got to talk about Baker. I think Baker's actually going to have a pretty good week this week against a really bad Arizona secondary. I think he might be in prime for a big-time performance here, and we'll see what happens between these good old Andrew and Chris. And then on Chris' side of things, he has George Kittle. And I love George Kittle. If you guys saw his just unbelievable stiff arm, looking great last week, set up that game-winning field goal. If only he got extra points for that, as I think he should. But Christian D back in action with Kittle, and then he has Drew Brees, had absolutely unbelievable performance last week, and a historic one, if you will. Sorry for that burp, guys. That was unprofessional of me. I tried to turn on the cough mic, but I don't have that on my phone at this particular point in time. But we're working on it. I think next year we might be able to have a little bit of a higher budget, so we'll see what happens. But that's the matchup. And then in the other matchup, we have the Kareem Lady Punters versus Rack 'em Up. Rack 'em Up, pretty heavy favorite in this one. Mark has a 212 points projected, which is huge. That's more than I think that's the most in the league this week. But for start off with Pistol Pete, he has Jacob Hollister, who I really like, a big tight end. He's become one of the favorite targets for Russell. I think that he has a chance to be pretty good this week against the Carolina defense. And then Emmanuel Sanders, he was unbelievable last week, even threw a touchdown. We'll see what he can do this week. And that's a good start, I think. Hopefully he can continue his good ways for the Niners. Hopefully they're able to continue to keep the offense on the field, because they do have a pretty lopsided affair with the Falcons, I think, possibly coming, especially Calvin Ridley being out for the Falcons. For Mark, I think you got to look no further than Allen Robinson. I traded him Allen Robinson earlier this year, and damn has he been good for him. Even with the quarterback troubles, Robinson's been very, very good. He's had a really good floor all season, pretty solid ceiling as well. And then Carson Wentz really got his shit together in the fourth quarter and overtime, leading the Eagles to a win and keeping their playoff berth chances alive. Moving on to the consolation portion of the winners bracket, the fifth place game. Adam, carry on wayward son against Pow Pow. Ovi with the big projection this week, 208 on the projection for this week. Adam, right now, he is looking to put a lot of emphasis on Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley's been pretty good, looked a lot better last week. His knees are not as good as they once were, but he's still got a little bit of explosiveness left, and you'll love to see that. And then Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry, as much as I would like to say it's Odell Beckham, he is a number one. Jarvis Landry is number one in Cleveland and has been for quite some time. Been doing a really good job for Adam and the Browns. Pow Pow, tough loss last week to Jerk Off, I believe, if that's correct. And Alvin Kamara, you're going to hopefully have a big week for Ovi this week. Kamara, Monday night matchup against the Colts. That'll be exciting to watch. And then DeAndre Hopkins, I believe he's number 3 wide receiver in all of football this year. Been really, really good. Those were his keepers last year, might even be for next year as well. A great season for Ovi and moving forward as well. In the 2-6 matchup, we got Green Edge and Beckham versus Cobra Kyler. You're not going to believe this. There's a 1-point difference right now in the projections. Absolutely unbelievable. You love to see it. But Austin Eckler, want to touch him a little bit. Touch on him a little bit. I did bench him last week. Hopefully he can do something similar to last week. That's a lot to ask, though. 100 yards receiving and rushing, huge time for him. And then Cooper Kupp. He's, I think, number 2 right now in L.A., but I hope that he can put together some good numbers for me, and I'm excited to see what he can do, maybe lead me to a championship berth. That would be good, but we'll see. I got a tough opponent in Cobra Kyler. Cobra Kyler has Michael Thomas, who's the best receiver in football, and I don't think it's particularly close this year. He's been unbelievable, setting all kinds of records over there in New Orleans. And then Mark Ingram as well. He's playing on Thursday, so Jeremy's going to know early on how he's going to do. But a great season for Ingram, and he's possibly going to have a big workload this week with the Ravens presumably being up early on the Jets. The other matchup, very close as well. 4 points is the difference between this one. Airmark Avengers, Nick Yonter Fan Club. For Airmark Avengers, he's got Deshaun Watson had a really good second half last week against the Broncos. We'll see what he can do this week. He has the Tennessee Titans, a big AFC South matchup. So we'll see what he can do there. And then Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz was fantastic at the end of the game last week, and a big tight end for Robbie Ray. And we'll see if he can take down the juggernaut that is Miguel. Miguel's been great all season. He's got Mahomes, of course, who has a very healthy projection this week. We'll see if he can get there. He does have a little bit of a hurt hand, but the swelling went down this week, so he should be fine. And then Aaron Jones. I love talking about free Aaron Jones. He's had a great season for Miguel. We'll see if he can keep things going for the Packers as they play a pretty good Bears defense. So that's what we got. That's the matchup for this upcoming week. You got myself versus Cobra Kyler, and then Robbie versus Miguel. Best of luck to everybody in the semis. Best of luck to everybody in the consolation brackets as well. I'll be back here for the very last time next week. Kind of bittersweet. This is our second to last show together. But I'll see you then. This is Commit signing off. Best of luck to everybody this week.